Hello, hello, hello. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Uche. Chukwudum.
Adam Makedo.
The man. Joy. Remy.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a female in the class. Oluboyu. All right, you're welcome to class. Okay. So it's the first, it's the inaugural session, so maybe we'll go into class today and begin training right away. Maybe not. But I want to at least dedicate the first 1 hour to introducing you to IT, giving you the opportunity to ask all the questions that you have, and hopefully get you on the start line for practicals that will follow either later today or the next time we'll go through. Right?
Yeah.
So my name is Akin Aregbesola, like you already know. I'm the head trainer, otherwise called faculty dean. I have other trainers that work with me to deliver quality training. For your class, I will be taking DevOps. I mean, there's this particular course called DevOps, even though the entire program is termed DevOps. All right, so I'll take DevOps, but to get you to DevOps, we need to prepare you, basically. Prepare you means that you need to take some foundational courses, intermediate courses, before you take the real course, DevOps, which is what this training promises. And then it is only after DevOps that you can confidently go out there and grab your 6-digit job. So the course is specially formulated, modified over the years, especially for 2022. And my confidence has reached almost certainty that whoever is passed is able to pass through this course from beginning to the end and understand what we do in a class, at least some 80, 85, 90%. The rest is done because the world out there is going to be actually tougher than the training I'm going to subject you through the next 4 months. All right. So let me just attempt to give you an overview that will hopefully put you on the right footing for the course. So for that one, let me go to, let me share my screen. I'm doing this because I know that many of you have already warned me that you are completely new to IT. This is going to be your first ever IT course. And I assure you, yes, there's no problem. Right? So as part of the IT fundamentals, which will continue beyond this class and throughout the duration of the training, I just want to introduce you to IT. Okay. So when we say, first of all, the whole concept of IT, especially as we look at it in DevOps, is built around networking. What is networking in IT? If we have a single computer like that, let's represent a computer by that. So that is a computer. It could be a laptop, it could be a desktop, it could be a tablet, it can even be, these days, mobile phone. So that has the applications basically that can simulate a real computer, right? So we have that computer. If you have this computer, and every time you need to do something on this computer, for example, you save a simple document on this computer. Every time you need to access this document, you physically come to this computer to access it. What if you go out of the state and you need to pick a file from this computer? It's not possible. You need to come there physically, attach a drive or something. I mean, the old school way. You may not know that, but this is what it used to be. And then copy your file before you can move it from one place here to another place there. This is because this computer is standalone. Call it standalone. This is not good at all. This computer is almost useless in this modern world when it is standalone. So what you want to do to begin to enjoy IT, at least at the basic level, is to have this computer connected to other computers. Maybe within the same building, maybe within the same home, maybe within the same town, maybe within the same campus, or even globally. When computers are interconnected this way, so that we don't physically need to come to this computer to grab a file or to print or to access internet, when they are all connected in such a way that we can now access resources on this computer from this computer, we say we have a network, computer network. It simply means interconnection of computers so that they can share resources. The resources could be a file resident on this computer. It could be a printer that is connected to this computer. It could be the internet that is coming from the outside world into this computer. Whatever that resource is, networking allows us to benefit in the sharing of that singular resource amongst many computers. Those many computers connected together to form this cluster of computers is called, this concept is called network or networking, connecting computers together. All right. So when these computers are connected together within a building, for example, your office, we call it small network. But in IT, we call small networks local area networks. So that's a local area network. All right. So it is on this foundation, depending on how big or how small your network is, that all this concept about IT, sharing files, loading applications, and everything we're talking about is on this concept. Right? When you have a local area network, maybe within a building of a bank, for example, everything here working together to form a LAN. What if you have another bank? Maybe this is the head office. You have another bank office there, maybe branch office. Then you have another one, another branch office, branch 2. It is also possible to interconnect these branches together so that they all work as network again. We now have a network of this branch office, that branch office, and this branch office, all of them working together as another kind of computer network. But this time on a wider scope than just a LAN. This bigger kind of computer network that is interconnecting LANs across a wider geographical area is generally called an enterprise network. We have LAN or corporate, then we have enterprise, right? Enterprise is spelled. But more generally, an enterprise network will not only comprise of computers across various branches, it will also, and more generally so, include remote devices outside the corporate network, because this LAN is within a building, it is secured, and the kind of operating system it runs allows the services that it offers to be administered and managed. We call them corporate network. But outside the corporate network, we have devices, maybe mobile phone, tablets, you know, especially mobile phones. For example, the network of our phone network like T-Mobile, like Verizon. It's not just connecting the offices of Verizon across America, but also connecting the millions and billions, millions of mobile phones owned by subscribers, connecting them to the same network to allow intercommunication. Because if phones were not connected together on the network, they will not be able to share voice and communicate with one another, because the communication actually happens in that along that path, right? Okay, so an enterprise network would generally not just be the connection of the corporate offices, but also the connection of mobile and remote devices over a wide geographical area. For example, mobile phone networks, right? So for this purpose, even though if you go lower, you may find smaller kinds of networks. For this purpose, the smallest kind of network is LAN. Then when LANs are interconnected, then you now get, I need you to call it enterprise, even though there's tendency to call it one. You get an enterprise network. An enterprise network, like I said, is usually not enterprise because of the interconnection. Otherwise, it just be an internetwork. It is actually because of these other mobile devices. So you are growing from one small network to a bigger kind of network. Yet, this is kind of old school. This is still deficient for modern day application because these resources are still localized. You still need to come here physically, even though it's an enterprise network. You need to come here physically to do stuff. You need to come there physically to do stuff because they are still, maybe you don't need to go there physically, but they are still physical. These resources are still physical. Let's look at it in a broader scope. You still need to supply power, you need to supply building, you need to pay bills just to maintain all of these elements that make up the network. All the computers, all the servers, all the printers, all the cablings, all the switches, all the routers. So many things come together, especially for very secure network of corporate organization. So many things come together to form this network. These different devices that come together to form a network are generally referred to as network infrastructure. Network infrastructure. Right? So you still need to spend a lot of money maintaining all of this infrastructure on the different networks that come together to form your internet. Now, the modern way to do this is take all of this hardware, all of this infrastructure, and all of these budgets and money spent in attempting to connect all of them together. Take all of them and convert them from being physical to being virtual. It's no longer real. You don't really have to go to the market to buy them. And go to a company that already has all of this set up in their warehouse. That warehouse has all the computing resources that you would ever need as a corporate organization. So what you do is you rent their resources, and they make these resources available, this service available to you through your computer. So that from your computer, from your laptop, you can log in and access these enormous resources, network infrastructure, operating system, servers, and so many services. So that you don't need to set up these things physically anymore. You now set up these things virtually within that environment. That is the service that is known as cloud. So cloud is fast. I mean, this cloud service is fast replacing the need to get physical computers, physical network infrastructure, put them together, rent an office, rent a computer engineer, rent a network, hire a network engineer, put all of the run generator. No. So you don't approach IT that way anymore. The way to approach IT now is to have access to the same, even more resources than your physical infrastructure can offer. Just by entering the cloud through your own laptop and accessing millions of computers. It's now up to you to say, okay, I need this server, I need this operating system on the server, I want to put this security around it, I don't want this person, this protocol to be able to log in. You now determine all of that and you build what you virtually. Virtually because they are no longer physical. They are spiritual. Right? Then you pay peanuts compared to the big budget of actually going to other servers and building this infrastructure by yourself and running your own data center by yourself. So it is this new concept of cloud computing that has opened up doors in technology and made so many things possible. And this is why we are training you now to become, first of all, cloud architects and then DevOps engineers, so that you gain the skill, the knowledge, and you are now able to go into cloud and do some of the things that I've explained now on behalf of your employer. That the employer will be Facebook, will be Google, will be Uber, will be Dropbox, whoever your employer is, or even a small company that is relatively unknown. You are going into cloud to do this same thing that you would have done for them if it was a physical network. However, in cloud, they are not running cables, so there'll be some service in cloud that will replace cable. In cloud, it's not a physical computer, so there'll be so many different kinds of computers to click to say, this is the one I want. Because the more resources you opt for, the higher your bill will be. Okay, this is what I want. What is processor? How much processor do you need to do this job? Well, this contract is only for 5 days. In 5 days, I'm done with it. Okay. And then if I have a processor that is 5 times as fast, that is just as fast as 5 laptops working together, then I'm good. You take all of this, build it, then you have your infrastructure. It is the ability to do all of that, and the knowledge and skill and technology put together to accomplish that, that makes you what we call cloud solutions architects. The word should be builder, but they prefer to use architects. So you are building infrastructure in cloud. And it's very easy. Once you're able to do that, so when your employer or if you are consulting, somebody tells you, I need a system that is able to run, I have 500 customers, I need 300 to be able to log in from Nigeria, and the remaining 200 from India, so that they can do this. So you give me the scenario. Hence, it's called requirements. Once I get your requirements for that business, I'm now able to tell, based on the skills that you gather here, what kind of system that I need to set up to meet that requirement. And once I come up with that system, you are now ready to put your application. The application would be the software that was designed for you to solve that problem that you are bringing. Because the reason for setting up network is to provide infrastructure for you to put your application that will solve the problem. Just like the reason for building in a house is to bring in your furniture and live in the house. So the reason for building network system is to provide a conducive atmosphere to bring in your application. It's your application that will now do the work that you are spending all the day. For example, run your Uber. Server that will run your Uber so that all the drivers and all the passengers all over the world will be able to connect without last minute I was able to connect, this minute the network is gone. That should never happen. It is the ability of the network of the solutions architect to put all of this together and make them scalable, highly available. We'll talk about all of that. That is what you will be learning. All right, I'll take a break and then we'll continue from there. So now, do you understand that standalone computers are useless and we're not going to mention them ever? That the basic networking, the basic network that computers, we keep referring to them as computers, even though ideally it could be mobile phones, could be laptops, it could be basically mobile phones, or even tablets, or let's just say computers. That the basic unit of network that computers can form within a building is called LAN, and that multiple LANs can be connected together so that one LAN can communicate to another LAN over a wide geographical area, resulting in what is called enterprise, network enterprise, or enterprise network, sorry. And that every individual member of that network, whether it is corporate or enterprise, that is every individual device, equipment, or even software that is contributing to the working of that network is called the network infrastructure. It's part of the network infrastructure. Network infrastructure is not one, it's just all of them. Right. Any question? Anybody here? Yeah, there's somebody here. You have?
Yes, I have a few questions in the chat.
Yeah, I prefer to hear you. I really prefer to. I can't be reading chat while I'm. So yeah.
Oh. What one of the questions is that what is the role of a VM, like a virtual machine, like in the cloud computing?
Oh, great. All right. So the computers that are in cloud that you click to spin up, they are not physical. They are virtual. So therefore, they are called virtual computers, or better still, virtual machines. So within AWS, which is one kind of cloud we are going to talk about, virtual machines are called EC2s. EC2. EC2. And okay. in Azure, Microsoft Azure, virtual machines are actually called virtual VMs. So it's basically the virtual format.
Right. Okay. My other question is, so are you gonna provide? I mean, do we have like access to a transcript for the class?
What's transcript?
I mean, maybe like something we can refer to, you know,
like manual?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You have access to manuals to summarize the commands and the steps that you need to achieve every assignment and every project. And then you also have access to the videos, so that you can watch the video over and over and be able to complete by yourself whatever project it was that we did together.
Okay.
That is where you gain the experience that you can now extract and put in your resume to say, I am able to spin up virtual machines in cloud, because we actually did it and you can claim it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, good questions like that. If you ask questions, I'm able to tell how low I should go, or whether you've understood everything we've talked about so far. And then we can build that.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. What did you say is virtual machine? Again, one more time.
So it is the virtual format of a physical computer. So in real world and in data centers, computers exist like physical form. It's a physical form. But in cloud, you don't have access to them physically. They don't ship them to you. They are available virtually. You know the meaning of virtual?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So virtual machine simply means a computer that is available to you, but in virtual form, not in physical.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if you tell your son, go bring me that virtual machine table, that is wrong. Virtual machine means that it's not physical. You cannot bring it. You can bring a physical laptop from it. So virtual machine or virtual system or virtual computer would be the equivalent of that is available in cloud. And that is what you will be using. We're going to give you access into cloud, and you see virtual machines. You can pick as many as you want, play with them and practice with them. And once you are done, you collapse them, you kill them, you terminate them. And then so easy, makes life simple. Unlike if you had a physical machine, whether you are using it or you are not using it, you pay rent for it, or you actually bought it outright. It's much more expensive to run physical machines than it is to run the virtual equivalent.
Is it possible to enable the chat so we can like interact with other students, or maybe like, you know, just asking questions and maybe providing like feedback and stuff like that? Okay.
So the group.
I have a question.
Let me quickly say that question. So the group we created for you right now, from where you logged in here, would remain. So as you practice and you have issues that you cannot resolve by yourself, you take a photo of the issue and you post it there and say, I'm having an issue, help me. So I will come in, your trainer will come in, your colleagues will come in, help you resolve issues. So have as your support. Right? And then also, when you also do something that is wow, that your colleagues are finding so difficult, be proud enough to also place it. Well, I got it. This is how I did it. It's working for me. And then we know who we can run to next time to say, the thing that worked for you did not work for me. Please show me, how did you do it? And for every contribution you make, it is adding to the experience. So the experience you are taking to the field, this is where you are gaining them one by one by one. You have a full resume of experiences. Or basically until you are now able to defend the resume that I have prepared for you to claim all of this.
Okay, so my question is, are we going to touch on anything that has to do with the cloud migration? I think that's one of the things I'm actually particularly interested in. Because like I'm not sure about every other person, but I'm actually new to this. I'm actually a Scrum Master, a project manager, but I'm trying to see how I can get more knowledge in this and, like we all know, scale our income basically. So I just want to know if you're going to touch on that.
Cloud migration is not a subject, but we're going to touch on so many subjects that will ultimately help, or that should ultimately help you to migrate. So migration simply means you are moving things from the physical server, cloud environment to cloud. All right. So whether you are moving that to an S3 bucket or you are setting up a whole new system to migrate that, it will vary from case to case. Or it could be as simple as just a click of a button, like moving things from your laptop to cloud. Or it could be as complex as, this is a $3 million project. That is not the approach we want. We actually want to build a system that will be able to do this, do this, do this, do this, and meet all of this requirement. And once that system is good, we will now migrate.
Okay.
And so many tools, and you'll find these tools used in that direction. However, the aspect of IT that you should certainly be able, confidently be able to do after this training is the aspect that we call DevOps, which is Okay, I could mention it. CI/CD. What does CI/CD mean? Yeah, I will not go into that. It's too early. But for that, at the end of this training, somebody asks you, what did you learn? What have you become? Yes, you may say I can do cloud migration. You may say I can do cloud solutions architecting. You may say I can do CSOC. But the primary thing that you are going to say I can do, and you really will be able to do that like 90%, is that you are a DevOps or automation engineer.
Okay.
Yes. All right, let's build another layer on top of that. Now that we know what LAN is, within the LAN, there is usually the computer that is most powerful, and therefore it's like the team lead of the other computers. This computer is generally, loosely called the server. All right, but more specifically, it has more specificness. All right, for now, let's just call it the server, so I don't bombard you with so many vocabularies at once. All right, so that server will be here. What does it mean? It means that this entire local area network, this entire corporate network is managed by this server. All right. So if somebody is coming from the outside into this network, this is the first computer it will meet. And this is the computer that will do the authentication. Yeah, your password and your username, is it correct? It's wrong. No, I'm not going to allow you to enter. Wrong username and password. Oh, it's correct. Oh, come in. But once you come in, what do you have permission to access? You are trying to access the MD's computer? No, you are not allowed. All right. So this one does your authorization, your authentication, and your accounting. So after it authorizes you and authenticates you to access different resources within the network, depending on what the network administrator, depending on the kind of permission the network administrator has assigned to you, it also monitors what you do and keeps a log of everything you do in here. Okay, the intention is not to bring all of that on. The intention here is just to tell you that this server here, that is the master of this network, runs an operating system different from these ones that are non-server. These ones that are not the servers, they are called clients. And this one that is the server is called server. So therefore, this kind of local area network is generally called client server. All right? What I mean is either server-based or client server. And when you have a client-server network, the server is always running an operating system called Windows. Have you heard of Windows Server before? Windows Server. So there is Windows, which we all use.
Yes.
Or there is Windows Server, which is the operating system that the master, the server of the local area network, uses to manage, to administer. But the reason I'm introducing that is that for the enterprise, because the enterprise is now managing not just 3, 4, 5 computers, but thousands and possibly millions of devices, both within the corporate lands and outside of the corporate land, Windows Server operating system will not do that work. There's another kind of operating system that is more robust, more powerful, more secure, more versatile than the Windows Server operating system. That server, that operating system is called Linux. Linux. So small networks run Windows Server operating system. on their server. But big networks run Linux operating system. So because as cloud engineers, we'll be dealing with big networks, we're going to learn Linux as an operating system. What is Linux? How do you install it and use it to manage multiple computers? What if I want to copy file from this server? At the level of Linux, we're not just saying computers, we're talking about servers. What if we want to connect remotely to a server and be able to configure that server from where we are sitting, and so on and so forth? So these are the things that you'll be learning under Linux. And once you learn all of this under Linux and you are now able to practice, know them well enough to practice, you attain the IT position called sysops. Become sysops. Although the jobs are not common out there to say, I'm looking for sysops. It's too small to actually give you a job, but it does exist. These are people whose primary responsibility is just to go into cloud and use Linux operating system to manage things around. The interest is not really in setting up systems like I explained earlier on, like a solutions architect would do. It's just going into servers and just, oh, it's working, it's working. They know what command and how to play around to get what they using just Linux operating system, the knowledge of Linux. They are called computer operators. They used to call them in those days, but the modern name as it relates to cloud is system operations. So sysop means system. They are called system operators. All right, are you still getting me? Are you still understanding what we are discussing?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right, time to test to see who is understanding.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready.
who is scared? Okay, let me teach you one or two things more, then we'll test. Then, by the time you know Linux, then you are now ready to start working with cloud, because this is the language that servers use, language input that servers use to communicate with one another. So it's now time to be spinning up servers, not just servers as standalone. Anybody can do that. In 2 hours, we are already doing that. But be able to build a robust system with the server. So that's why when we talk about cloud, we don't talk about server only. We talk about cloud and we talk about infrastructure. The server alongside all the other services working with the server to produce a highly secured, highly scalable, highly available system. So the person who is now able to spin up servers and put all of these things around to come up with this kind of system is called what? Cloud solutions.
Solution architect.
Correct. Cloud architect.
Right.
Thank you. Architect. And to do that, we need to go and teach you AWS. Take you into cloud, and we'll teach you AWS in details. AWS is one of the 3 major, in fact, it's the biggest cloud service provider in the world. Amazon Web Services. Right? Outside this class, somebody will tell you, oh, you are already AWS solutions architect, you can do this. Oh, you are great. Come, go and look for a job. You are good. But by the time you get to the market, the competition will be stiff, and you're going to see that almost everybody knows AWS. So it's not likely you'll get a job. And even if you do get a job, it might not be 6-figure job. So you want to learn something on top of that to make you really, really competitive, right? And that next thing that you will learn here is 1, infrastructure. The terms are just big, they are not so difficult. Infrastructure as code. What does this do? So this eliminates the concept of going into cloud and using mouse to click like I'm clicking now. You see me clicking? Clicking here, no. If you have a contract to set up 70 servers for was for Microsoft, for example. All right. By the time you are done using your mouse to set up 70 servers, somebody else has provided the 70 servers and they have done the job they wanted to do with the 70 servers, and they have collapsed the servers and they are done. And then at that time, you are just presenting your report. Oh, I am done creating. Because that person uses what they call infrastructure as code. So this simply means that you should be able to code using your understanding of Linux and some other tools, specifically Terraform. You should be able to code. Are you scared? It's not really coding, it's called scripting. It's not difficult to learn, I assure you. All right? You should be able to write a script that you will run from your computer. And this script will find its way into cloud and spin up all the things that you have commanded that is spins up. So that in 1 hour, something else that took somebody 3 weeks to accomplish doing it manually, in 1 hour, this code will just spin up an easy tool, build a security gate around, spin up this, take that application, and everything is just automated. This is what is called automation. What does it automate? Automate the provisioning of infrastructure. Wow. It's at this level now that you begin to talk of, yeah, I'm ready for job. I'm ready for 6-figure job. Right. Then you wouldn't quite be there yet. There's one more course. It's called CICD. And this is the real course that is called DevOps. What does it mean? It means that in addition to being able to automate your infrastructure to the spin up, now let's see who will get this question. I'll continue with this explanation after this question. What is the real reason for setting up your network? What's the real reason for going into cloud to build infrastructure? What do you want to do with it?
Like you said, connecting several system devices together, like making it making a network of devices, basically.
Yeah, that's the question. So what is the goal? Why are you doing all of that? Why are you connecting several systems, several services together to make a network out of it? Once the network is ready and it's good, what do you want to do with it?
So that information can travel between or among all of them. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And also to make communication seamless, you know,
yeah, what's the goal? Why do you want to make communication seamless? Why do you want to, when you are building your house and you are putting door there, window there, yeah, you are trying to make communication seamless. You be able to move from kitchen to here, the walls are, you know, but what's the goal? What's the whole goal? Preparations.
Security.
What do you want to achieve? You are setting up the network for something. What is it that you're setting up?
Cloud, right?
Yeah.
I said that's the cloud, like the cloud network, or?
Yeah, you are setting up your network in cloud. But
okay.
What for?
For easy accessibility.
You are setting up your network to deploy your application.
To put the application on it, yeah.
That's the reason. This is just the house. In fact, you know the meaning of infrastructure. Physical infrastructure, industrial infrastructure, IT infrastructure. So you are setting up that because you want to put something in it. You want it to run something. So you want to deploy an application on that infrastructure. That infrastructure, are you going to deploy your application on the ground? So the real reason for every correct answer that you gave earlier on, all of that effort, all of that money, all of that technology, is just so that you have a good and stable infrastructure on which you now run your application. It's just like setting your pipe. Are you setting up your pipe? Running pipe all the way from California to New York. For what? just so that you can run your petroleum or something. There must be a goal, a purpose for. So the purpose for building your infrastructure is so that you can deploy your application fine on it. So the meaning of CI/CD now is that you are now automating the deployment of application on your infrastructure. Deployment, or let's not speak the big English, let's say automate your app. So the difference between the first automation and the second one, the first automation will automate the provisioning of your infrastructure. The second automation will automate the running of your application inside your infrastructure. By the time you know this concept and you learn all of the tools and you're able to do this, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you from getting your system. But this is what the industry is doing. Yeah, they could call the position AWS Solutions Architect. They could call it QS Server Engineer. They could call it, I mean, the nomenclature is flexible, but ultimately they expect to earn six figure that you are able to do automation, both at the level of infrastructure and at the level of application deployment, especially at the level of application. So this is why we have called the course DevOps, because this is the most important of all of them. All these other ones are just preparing you for this.
Can you elaborate on the meaning of CI and CD?
Yes, CI/CD means continuous integration, continuous deployment. I'm not able to, yeah, you need to understand some basic things first before you know what that means. But at the end of the day, it just means that you are automating the deployment of your application into your infrastructure. That's all. All right.
Do you also like encourage like note taking, or are you going to just like I asked earlier if you're gonna provide like transcript?
Yeah, we'll provide transcript, but you can't just listen to your trainer for hours and not put down something in ways that you would understand it just at a glance.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Do you get any question? So it's time for me to ask questions.
Sorry, before you ask us questions, I just want to know what days are the days for the training? I don't know.
Yes, the training would be Saturdays and Sundays, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., 3 hours, Texas time. Saturdays and Sundays for this class. We have other classes, but your particular class will be Saturdays and Sundays, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Texas time. So if you're on Eastern time, like many of my trainings, it will be 7 p.m. to 10.
Pacific time. What time is that? Pacific time.
I'm not certain, but it looks like Pacific time is 2 hours difference. I'll just Google it. Looks like it's we're 2 hours ahead of Pacific. So at a guess, I would say it will be 4 p.m. your time, but Google will be specific. So Pacific is where's the Pacific? Oh, is it 7? Huh? Pacific time is 7?
I think it's no, now is 4:50.
Oh, okay. So I was right. So 2 hours behind, yeah.
Okay, so that means it's 4 to 7.
4 to 7, yes.
Okay, and how long is this for? How many months?
4 months.
Huh?
4.
Oh, okay.
4 months.
Perfect.
Oh,
okay.
I'll show you the different camera. It's on.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, so maybe we just slow down now and take those kinds of questions before we delve deeper into introduction. Yes. It's a 4-month course. This course is not so difficult, I tell you. How it could be difficult if you are struggling to cover them by yourself. But having paid this much money to be part of this training, you have removed the difficulty because we know the best way to pass this on in such a way that you would easily understand it, provided you are committed to learning, and then ultimately. So sometimes
question. Speaking on what you just talked about, trying to learn it on your own. It was something I tried last year. I went as far as learning the DevOps, the continuous integration, and all of that. But I think one of the major issues I had was the automation part, because I know immediately I got there and they said, okay, you need to know this. Then secondly, I wanted a guide like what we're having now. Okay, this is what you need to know, and this is where you need to get to. Because I know I started direct, I just jumped into DevOps, going into how you get into the GitHub and building the pipeline and all of that. So it just looked like gibberish, basically. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Then there's one other one. I don't know if we're going to be touching it. That's Kubernetes. I don't know if it's one of the. We will be touching it. Okay. All right. No problem.
Kubernetes is king.
I know that's where
we did
I know
extensively with Kubernetes.
Okay. No
Where
problem.
my confidence is coming from.
Okay.
Without Kubernetes, you're already good in CI/CD. But to know Kubernetes on top of CI/CD, because Kubernetes by itself alone is what the total
it's a different
amount of
world entirely. I know that part. I know that part. Thank you.
Are you already an IT person?
No, like I said earlier, I'm into project management. I'm a Scrum Master, but I love the IT world. I was more that I have a computer engineering background as well, but not IT inclined, basically.
Oh yeah, and of course, as a Scrum Master, you work with developers, and you are always in IT.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, just go into the technicalities now of what you already know, and then they will now begin to make more meaning. Oh, okay.
Yes, that's exactly why I'm here. I'll be speaking for every other person. It's just to increase our salary. I believe so. To see how I can scale my salary up. So that's that's why I'm here.
Scrum Masters are already doing great, unless you are talking.
Yes, but where I am now, they kind of request for technical Scrum Master. So they want you to do part of the, especially when it comes to the cloud part, they want you to partake in it. And once you can partake in it, they want to lay off some people so they can use one person to do multiple jobs. And obviously it's, they scale you up.
Makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, I think this class is especially made for you, the right place. Please don't let that scare you. Was it Uche that was talking? What was it? The person that joined the last minute.
Yeah, I have a question.
All right.
Yeah, so do you suggest we take any certification at some point?
Yes. I would recommend that you take AWS Cloud Solutions Architect after the training.
After the training, okay.
Yeah, because while you are in training, you want to focus and make the best out of them. But this particular one, can you see this one?
Yes.
I would recommend you take just that is enough to prove whatever you want. Just that one is enough.
And I'm pretty sure this class will get me ready for that.
Yes, the class will give you all the writing the certification and knowing the stuff enough to be able to go into cloud to deploy. They are not exactly the same thing, but the exposure the class will give to you in terms of the practicals will make writing this, will first of all help you understand the concept, and then passing the certification will not be a matter of reading wide and practicing what we call dumps. Dumps are just like past questions, sample certifications questions. Practice them over and over until you are scoring like 80, 90% on those questions before you now go.
Okay, well, at that point, would you have like recommendation on like what to use to study or how to get those? Okay, cool, thank you.
Because we have an alumni group and people are passing certifications all the time, people are getting jobs all the time. So you'll be part of that group and then you just be networking with 100 other colleagues of yours.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but yeah, we do have, we know those dumps. And they are not, they are updating regularly. In other words, the last person to pass would contribute to the body of knowledge to say, okay, this was what I did and it worked. And then just keep moving as people are passing and people are getting jobs, people are passing talents. We are drawing from the experience. So that will be mostly between you and your colleagues and in the forum.
Okay.
What else? Yes, any other question? Who is completely new to IT here? The only thing you can do is you use Windows on your laptop.
I am.
What are you?
What am I right now?
Oh, okay, that's you, right?
I'm new. Yeah, I'm new to IT. Yeah.
New. All right, so you are going to be our benchmark. Do you understand what we have discussed so far?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, so where do you use Windows Server in contrast to Linux operating system?
Yeah, so you will use Windows Server like in a small environment, like like in a corporate office, which just just small environment. When you will use Linux for like an enterprise, to be able to connect to those servers, to those small Windows servers. So Linux, you want to use Linux to connect to those small Windows servers.
Okay, so yes, I mean, you go to, when we ask questions like this in IT, we're just looking for keywords, not the length of the answer.
Okay.
So you got it right when you said corporate, when you mentioned corporate, when you were talking Windows, and then you got the other one right when you mentioned enterprise.
Okay.
The rest we're just trying to beautify that explanation. We don't need the beautification in IT.
Okay, thank you.
Very directed. Oh, good. All right, so next question is okay. Or at least we're interacting, which is good. So not everyone is talking. Is Remy John here? Remy John, are you able to talk?
I'm right here, sir.
Are you able to contribute?
Yeah, I kind of got most of the lectures because this is my first time in IT, but I've been watching some of your videos, so with you going over and over before, it makes it easy. It's as if I've heard this before, so to speak. Yeah.
Awesome. And by the way, I have courses on YouTube that deals with Windows. Although no, they don't really ask that at interviews, but it just might help you.
Okay.
Perhaps, I mean, build a solid foundation in IT. If you go through the Windows course, if you have the time, it's lengthy. Right?
So,
right.
Can I ask a question, if you don't mind?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, the weekend is just the timing is different from it's a little bit difficult, challenging for me. But I'm thinking, is there a way maybe after each lecture we have a copy of the video so that people like me who might not be able to meet some of them we'll be able to rewatch the videos.
Definitely, yes. So every lecture is recorded, like we're recording this now. And then within 2 hours of completing the training, or worst scenario, the next morning, you would have a copy of the video uploaded. And then you would have, of course, it will be private, even though it's on YouTube. And then you would have access to that private video.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah.
So I have
even
one
after
more
the
question.
training, you still continue to have access to those videos.
Yeah, I have one more question. You know, I'm very you know, interested in IT, you know, even though I don't know so much, because I came from a medical background. That's what I've done all my life. I used to be a chemical pathologist, but you know, there are some things you say that is similar and perform the same functions. Like when you say the LAN, the local area network, they have the servers and the primers. You know, those are, and you know, I know what that means. So that's a good thing for me, you know, on my own part. So I'm just, you know, my question is, now, if you have, is it possible to, you know, things happen. Is it possible to run a Linux program on a Windows computer? Like you having like for me, I have an Apple. So I'm thinking, is it possible I can use such device for such a Linux job? I don't understand if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do. I don't understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So one way is to create multiple virtual machines out of your laptop. So you can use one of those virtual machines for Linux. But again, that is not really too relevant for the purpose of getting a six-figure job. So why waste effort? Or you could use, these days, there are layers of the operating system. So you can put, like, it comes as an app. So you load it like you are loading an app. So you now have Ubuntu layer on top of your Windows, right? That may not make so much sense, but that's one way. But for this training, you don't even need any of this. You don't need to run Linux on your Windows server. So we'll be using your laptop as a door to open into cloud. So your Linux server would be spinned up in cloud, and you will install your Linux in cloud, so that every time you need to practice, you just go into cloud, open a Linux server, and practice in cloud. Yeah, so that way you are gaining the experience that employers need directly. No simulation, no ambiguity. You are just doing the real thing as they want.
Okay, sir.
So for most of these jobs, if not all of them, you will not be working. You'll not be working directly for most of them. You'll not be working directly on your laptop. You only use your laptop to log into cloud, and then you can spin up machines in cloud where you run your different applications. So right now I have like 13 different servers running in cloud. Depending on what I want to run, I have been different servers for different. So that's what you do.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
So one more question. So for this part, do you recommend, because I'm actually using a desktop right now, do you recommend that I also get a laptop?
No, you don't need it. Yeah, the desktop is good.
Okay.
Yeah. The desktop is doing the work. All you need is, and you are going to log into cloud today, I believe, because you have 2 hours. Once you can log into cloud and you have C cloud, you have access to it. That's all you need.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, can we continue? Any other questions? So we heard everyone's voice. File cloud.
Quick question. So like, can we just maybe like, because I do have like Linux running on my laptop. So is it possible to just like kind of practice on it? If we want to, maybe like the scripting that you spoke about?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
If you already have Linux, you can practice on it. I mean, I don't know what you're practicing. So if what you will be practicing, the project or the assignment
like the
is
commands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I meant was when you are practicing command, are you copying from one server to another server? In that case, you may want to go into cloud and spin up those two servers and see it work directly.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
All right.
Or if
Thank
it's
you.
just yeah. But as much as possible, to be honest with you, I really need you to practice these things in cloud. The reason is because that is the production environment. So if you practice it in a simulated environment that is not the real thing, the confidence is not the same. So just do it, see it. I mean, spin up a real server in cloud. Because what they are going to give you in production is not different from that, and see the results.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So here, so for at least the Linux and the AWS, I'm going to introduce the trainer for those two courses. And then he will train you to become sysops and cloud architects. Especially CI/CD, right? But to learn Linux, you need somebody who has a lot of patience and who knows these things deep, and is readily available, all right? So what I want to do is introduce the trainer that will not be distracted like I would be with business and trying to pursue more trainings and all of that. But after he has given you the preparations that you need to do the infrastructure as code and CI/CD, then I'll come and take. I call them the big courses, right? Well, you see already, it tastes of the pudding. I mean, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So I'm not going to say so much. You have had a bit of what I can deliver. You compare, and then you come back to tell me, wow. All right. But if there's any complaint or you feel that you are not flowing with class, please feel free. If you don't put your message on the, if you look for my number, yeah, I'm right here, Akin Aregbesola, on the forum, you can direct message me and tell me whatever your experience is. If you have any feedback that can help us improve, especially if it's complaint about, oh, you don't like the way something is going, feel free. You paid for the service, so you should get the best service. But I'm assuring you, even in advance, that you are in good hands, and you will know from day one. It's not like tomorrow, or you will know after 1 week. You know from day one right away whether this is worth it or not. And it is the confidence that you build layer by layer by layer based on what you are getting from the trainer that ultimately prepares you for what you want to become at the end of 4 months. It doesn't just jump in after 4 months or in the 4th month. It starts from day one. All right. So Femi will be taking you Linux and AWS. And then, of course, like we said, I'm monitoring as the dean, as the head of the department, as the prof closely. And then you can always let me know if there's anything you need us to improve. All right. So I'll spend a few more minutes to take questions, and then I'll release the class for Bafemi so that you guys can go into, you can take it further from here. Whether he wants to go into practicals today and take you to Windows, which I would love, will not depend on how, because we don't want to leave anybody behind us, or to give the impression that we're in a rush. We have 4 months to cover these courses together is enough. And even if we have to extend that by a week or two, we don't mind at all. So there's enough time to cover everything that we've got. But we just want to make sure that we are not leaving anyone behind because we are focusing on, we don't want to be biased. So once we are sure that everybody understands the concept and we're ready to build another layer, we'll do. And that next layer will be going into cloud from day one. All right?
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to know, like, if everyone in the class is pursuing the DevOps I guess position with it?
Yeah, that's what we are doing.
Okay.
Whoever is here is for DevOps.
Okay, just make
Yeah.
sure.
It's not, no, we don't have somebody just doing Linux and living or just doing AWS. The goal is DevOps. The goal is 6-figure job. And that's our strength, like I told you. Even though you become CISO, you become cloud architect, you become, the real thing you are taking from this training is to become DevOps engineer. So whoever is not getting there is not getting the best that we have. He just enjoys the preparation. Then what's the use preparing you if you are not going to get? So DevOps is our strength. All the tools, all the servers and everything you need to become DevOps, we have mastered them so well and now pass them comfortably. As the transfer the knowledge.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there like any certification we'll have to do after the program?
Yeah, we already answered that when you were in class. The certification would be AWS Solutions Architect Associate level. Just that one certification on top of the other knowledge, not to prove to employer that you know what you are doing. You don't have to write many certifications. And then in my current class, 2 people already got job. I have not finished that class. I'm still in class. Should be finishing maybe after. Still have like 3 more lectures to do to finish the course. 2 people already got job, and none of them is certified because they have not even completed the training to go and write certification. So you could be lucky, but just put it in mind that you would write certification, even though there are some outstanding people that, wow, I mean, you show your understanding of concept and you can impress them and just get the job right. But don't take that for granted. It's still highly recommended. And when I say job, I mean 6-figure job, minimum 100,000. We don't mention jobs there because after all of this effort, it has to be 6-figure.
It must too.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be 6-figure. There's so much that you'll be learning. So we are not much. We are not a class of 30, a class of 25. Yeah, I used to have a class of 25 people at once when I was charging $600 back. Or rather have 8 people, 7 people paying good money, and then I'll have high percentage of success. The class has not finished. Out of 7, 2 already got job. By the time the class finishes, already, I mean, the way they interact, the way they ask questions, the deep understanding, I'm already confident that they will get good jobs. That's what the training is.
Quick question, do you guys help in resume building?
Definitely. Definitely. Everything you'll be learning here is already in resume, the way you will put it one night, and by the time you wake up the next night, 5 calls are coming in. So what the training is doing is just preparing you to defend that resume. The resume template is already with. Are you going to get calls when you put your resume, place your resume on job portal like LinkedIn? You'll be tired of getting calls. You'll be so tired. You'll be the ones picking. This call. I don't want to take Indian person call. You call me, you book an appointment with me before you call because the calls will be so many. So these things have been tested. Like, yeah, so we'll help you with resume, we'll help you with interview preparations. Almost entirely throughout the training, but focus more on it at the end of the training because at that time you'd have covered all of the areas that you'll be interviewed in. Yeah, that will come in. So by the end of the training, by the time you would start doing, by the time we complete Kubernetes, we'll relax on the hard part of the training and make time for the soft skill part. So that's when we talk about using resume. Show you the resume. We'll go through the resume line by line. I'll ask you questions. Whatever you cannot defend, I'll say, okay, remove this line. You add this line or something. Yeah. By the time you are now leaving,
Okay.
All right. If there are no more questions, we still have 1.5 hours.
One last question, I guess, for now. So are there like a remote job opportunities for DevOps?
Yeah, almost all jobs are remote for DevOps.
Cool.
So the jobs that will not be remote, they will tell you, well, this is not remote. So about 80% of jobs are remote, and 20% are hybrid. In other words, you work like 2 or 3 days from home, and then 2 or 3 days you come to the office. In that case, they would need you to relocate. Yeah, office location. Like, yeah, I'll keep sharing interview experiences with you because I attend interviews on your behalf just to know what employers are looking for. And then I bring them back to class to tell you, to prepare you for the real world.
Awesome.
Yeah, so some of these are still, they are too premature to discuss now. So let me let you start the course first, and then we'll begin to share those experiences. All right, okay. There are no more questions. I'm going to introduce Femi. Femi.
Yes, sir.
Femi, where are thou?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. I'm trying to get my video up so at least we can see each other for the first time.
Awesome. All right. So I am hopeful that 1, 2, 3 persons will still join so that we have a total of 7 trainings or 8. But for now, this is the class that I'm presenting to you of these 6 persons.
Okay.
Actually 5, but 1 person was making inquiry while I was almost coming to class, so I just allowed them to join so that they can make up their mind hereafter if they would. But we have 5 people who have registered. And like I said, hopefully I have like 2 people that are. All right, so it will be your class from now.
All right, sir. Once again, good evening, everyone. My name is Obafemi Adegoke, and I'll be your trainer for the first 2 modules, Linux System Overview and Cloud Computing with AWS. It's a pleasure to be with you. And just as the faculty leader said, you are in the right place, especially if you are considering a career in IT. We know there are many other ones there, but with our success rate, which is evident around, we know that we are sure of what we are doing at the items. Right, so I would want us to interact on how we want our class to proceed. Kindly enjoy my video for today. Subsequent classes is just going to be my voice and practicals, because classes at the items are 100% hands-on. Okay, today's class is probably going to be the class where you have more of discussions. Other classes are going to be, we're going to be building labs, real life. Okay, I'll do it, then you do as well. And again, when you watch the video, you continue building your labs. And then until you do it without watching the video and you have built your confidence, that is when you know that, okay, for sure, I know this, and then we proceed from there. So to summarize that, we won't need to put up our videos in subsequent classes since all we're gonna need is the voice of the trainer and the interface where we are working from. And the faculty leaders warned seriously that we no longer use VirtualBox to train Linux. So from day one, we are entering into cloud immediately. Even before we start the second module where we introduce us to AWS, we will start using AWS platform to train on Linux. And after 2 months testing, that I can say is the best decision, that trainees start acquainting themselves with the AWS environment early enough. So by the time we finally get into AWS, they're already familiar with the environment, that it looks as though they are just refreshing AWS. So that's what we'll be doing. And another ground rule which I would like us to adopt is this. While we are in class, I will implore everyone to mute their voice. However, should you have question at any point in time, please ditch Zoom rule of raising your hand using the Zoom icon. Unmute yourself and ask your question. I'll take that again. Even though we will agree that we all mute ourselves so we can enjoy the video when we play it back, but if you have any questions or clarification at any point in time during the training, please unmute and ask your questions. Okay, so that the condition at which you can flout muting yourself rule is when you have any question. That's the second thing. The third thing is, I know we are from different backgrounds, people with computer science background and zero computer science background. So this is an hybrid class. We understand that. So what that says is there will not be silly questions. There will not be worthy, unworthy questions. All questions are worthy. I repeat that again, please. All questions are worthy. So any question you want to ask as it concerns what we are learning, all right, please ask your questions. You have paid for the training, you should optimize the payment and you should ensure you get everything out of the training. So please don't at all be intimidated by people who have computer science background and you feel you want to come behind and ask your questions. No, you are in class together. It is a leveler. Please ask any of your questions, get clarifications on what we are learning before we move ahead. All right. I think these 3 rules will help us to enjoy the class. It is from experience. It has always helped the class so that everybody is happy and we have a win-win situation. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions before we proceed? Any questions before we proceed?
No questions.
All right, that's from one person. Can I get feedback from the rest of us?
Good.
All right, sir. Sir, would you like to make me a host so I can share my screen so we can begin? Hello, sir. Okay, I might have to send him a private message so he can make me a host so I can share my screen. All right, I'm just waiting on him to make me a host so I can share my screen, and then we'll begin from there. So we'll just be probably discussing Linux today, and then as from next class, we'll enter into practicals properly. And I can also take further questions that you are not able to ask when the faculty lead is with us. Okay. I might have to call him.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I would like to share my screen. So you
Oh,
want to
okay.
make me a host?
Oh, okay. Uh, okay. In fact, not co-host. Okay, so.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. What do you see, sir?
I say what document, course outline and curriculum.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so this is what we are going to be looking at in the next 3 to in the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, because we won't have to rush. We'll take it and ensure that everybody at the end of 3 to 4 weeks is able to do all that we have on this list. All right. So we're starting today with introduction to Linux and the basics. Okay, if time permits us, we'll discuss Linux distributions, shell prompts, navigations, and basic commands. Okay, and if you go to the theITern website, the course syllabus that you find there, everything and more are embedded in this outline that you have here. Okay, just as the faculty lead said, you have his permission to audit the trainer, okay, after, even before the end of the class. Everything the faculty lead has promised that you will know. In case you don't know them, you should report to him, but I can assure you that you will have everything he said today that you're going to have. All right. So look at it, even more than what you will need to prep you for your career in DevOps engineering. We have it here. So we're going to discuss the different distros of Linux. We'll look at shell prompts to acquaint ourselves with the Linux environment. And for those without a computer science background, you do not have any cause to be afraid. You have seen black screens and people entering stuff that looks like code or jargons. You're in the right place where we're going to break it down to you. It's nothing to be afraid of at all. And then we'll look at basic Linux commands, all right? When we are done with that, we'll enter into user management, how you can manage root users, ordinary users, and super users, okay? And then we'll set some permissions, we'll modify permissions, and then we'll also discuss file access control list. So I'm currently taking DevOps course for another US set, and we were changing ownership of a file just on Friday, right? And I asked them, so look at our Maven directory, we need to change the ownership. And the speed at which they were giving me the command to change ownership, I was really impressed, like, wow. Look at people that 2 months ago, they don't even know what changing ownership is, all right? And we are here in a DevOps class, changing ownership like a pro. They are actually a pro now, by the way. And in the next 2-3 weeks, I'm sure they are ready. They are even attending online interviews already. One of them discussed with me that he had an online interview, and I'm sure he's enthusiastic about it. So yes, we'll discuss permissions. All right, we'll modify, we'll change permissions. We'll also set FACL, file access control list. After that, we'll discuss the different packages. So you see, you have Linux distros here, right? This distribution, we also call them distros in IT. So each distro is its own package, okay? Although some distros use the same packages, okay? Like CentOS, Fedora, Red Hat, Amazon Linux, they all use Yum package, while Ubuntu and Debian use apt, or we call it apt-get, all right? So these names I mentioned, don't bother about them. When we get into this introduction, we'll discuss them further, right? And then we'll look at common installations like your NTP, which is your network time protocol, HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, VSFTP, very secured file transfer protocol. So early enough, we'll introduce us on how to install these packages and how to configure them. Because what you'll be doing in DevOps when the faculty lead comes on is more of installations and configurations, all right? So early enough, we're going to introduce every one of us to how to install from each of these distro, right? Before now, we only show how to install from a Yum package, all right? But the faculty leader has insisted that we should make trainings to be versatile. So we'll not only learn how to install from Yum package, we'll also learn how to install from the apt-get package as well. And when we are done with the packages, we'll enter into networking, right? Although we are using AWS Linux platform, the networking has been taken care of, but we'll still make good effort to explain all the files that make networking possible. We'll discuss IP addressing, okay? We'll look at SSH, shell, secured shell, SSH, and also SCP, secure copy. And lastly, we'll discuss some topics like run levels, BIOS, and read, just to give you edge knowledge above the regular ones. We also look at bash scripts, okay? I heard when faculty lead was saying you don't have to be really big on coding to excel as a developer, all right? Most of the coding we'll be doing in AWS or even in DevOps is a bash scripting. So early enough, we'll introduce us on how to maneuver away in bash scripting, talk about the bin bash. We'll even test it as well. All right, so these are all we're going to be doing in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Any questions again before we move ahead? I'd like to get feedback. Am I too fast? Am I running, or you are okay with my pace? What would you want the trainer to improve on early on?
Good pace so far.
Yeah, pace is fine.
All right, the pace is fine. That's a good feedback. Who else is also saying that? How many female do we have in class? Let's be gender sensitive.
Maybe one, I don't know.
All right, it says just Miss Joy. Good to meet you. What do you think
Nice to
of the
meet you too.
pace, Miss Joy? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm very totally new to IT, so keep it this way, please.
Oh, all right. No, you don't have to worry about that. I'm always reminding myself that this is an hybrid class, so we have to carry everyone along. And I can assure you, after Linux, you'll be well grounded. All right. So let's discuss Linux system overview, Linux server administration. All right. So Linux is an open source operating system. Okay. There are different kinds of operating systems out there. You have, in fact, you are using one kind right now on your computer. If your computer is Windows powered, so Microsoft powered rather, you are currently using Windows operating system. All right. And that could be from the latest one, Windows. I think they say there is Windows 15 now, or is it Windows 12? You have Windows 10, you have Windows 10.1 Professional, you have Windows 7, you have Windows 8. Then going back into the olden days where you used to have Windows XP and all that. Those are different versions of Windows operating system. However, those operating systems I mentioned have the Windows desktop, that is Windows client. Windows has special operating system for servers. Okay, so you have the Windows 2016, you have all versions of Windows Server. Okay, so also we have the Linux operating system. If you are running, if you're host, by host I mean the computer you're connecting with right now, if it is a MacBook, then you are running on Mac OS. And you also have different kind of Mac OS as well. All right. So all systems, hardware, they need operating systems, okay, to operate. Not only hardware as well, servers also need operating systems to what? To operate, right? In this career path, so DevOps engineering, the OS we are focusing on is Linux operating system. And the reason for our choice is that Linux is the most used server operating system out there. All right. I'll say that again. You can go and verify. Linux is the most used server operating system. I'm not saying client or enterprise operating system. I'm saying server OS, Windows is the most used. Okay. And that's why we are focusing on Windows operating system. Before now, we do take it from Windows and then we move into Linux, but we have ditched Windows and we are focusing on Linux so we can start early on without wasting anybody's precious time. All right, so Linux operating system is what we are teaching in class, and then we graduate into cloud computing with AWS. Okay, and even when we get into AWS as well, we'll also be spinning up Linux servers. All right, so it is an open source. By open source, we mean that it is free for all. Okay, so it is from that open source that some group or individuals have taken the kernel, which is Unix, UNIX, okay, and they use it to form their own, okay, which they can now decide to make a closed source. So they tweak it. By tweaking, I mean they do one or two rearrangement, modification to it, okay, and they call it their own different kind of names, okay. So Linux is actually from the kernel Unix, okay. Then groups and individuals take it and form their own distros. All right, so you have Fedora is a kind of Linux. You have Ubuntu is a kind of Linux. You have CentOS, although CentOS will be discontinued very soon. It has been taken over by Red Hat. All right, so it has been merged into Red Hat. You have Debian, you have SUSE. Even Amazon has its own Linux distro as well. All right, so it can be divided into three main parts. Linux system can be divided into three main parts. You have the hardware, okay, which talks about the memory, the CPU, and the disk. You have the Linux kernel, all right, which talks about the software itself, okay. The kernel is the central component of an operating system, and it manages the operations of the hardware, okay. It basically manages operations of the memory and the CPU time, okay. It is the core of the operating system, okay. It acts as a bridge between the application and the data processing that is performed at the operating system, all right. And then you have the user space, okay. This is where users like you and I will be directly interacting with the system. For those that are familiar with the technology world, they also call it the user interface, UI, UX. User interface, user design. That's, you have the user space, that is the interface where you interact with the Linux or where you interact with any of the operating systems out there, right? So next we are going to discuss is the Linux distribution, right? So often shortened as distro. So you hear me refer to it as this particular distro, Linux distro. Know that I'm referring to distribution, okay? It is also an operating system that is compiled from components developed by various open source projects and programmers. All right. And like I said, we have the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay. I'll group them together based on their packages. So the ones that uses the RPM, I think I would like to use the white board at this point. All right. Can you see my whiteboard?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So let's use this text. Okay. We're going to group them according to their packages. Okay. Remember I said there are packages in Linux. So let's start with the RPM package. It is called repository manager, RPM. Okay. And the package manager in RPM is yum. So anytime we are doing installation from the RPM, from the Linux distro that uses RPM, you'll be seeing us say yum install, yum this, yum that. All right. And the particular distro that are under this package are this. You have the Red Hat, RHEL. This is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay. So I'll put and CentOS together with this because CentOS has been acquired by Red Hat. You have the Fedora. These are distros. Okay. Let me order them so you can know. Okay. You also have the OpenSUSE. So I'm just giving us the common distros out there, right? Maybe for clarity's sake, you might also want to put, you might not want to group OS, CentOS, you might want to separate it, right? So just as you have this repository and the packager is yum, we also have another repository, which is Debian. Okay, so let's put another one here. Debian package, and the package manager is apt-get or apt. Okay, apt-get or apt. And the distro under them, we have about 3 as well: Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint. Okay, Debian, Ubuntu, 3.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah. Hello. Are you sure these guys? Are you sure they are following you?
All right. Let's get feedback from them. Hello. Are you with me? I'm sure they're following.
Yes, I'm here.
I'm here as
Yes,
well.
I'm
Maybe.
following. I'm following.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Maybe you should have been doing the practical one by one. Then after the practical, we'll now come back and relate. Okay, the places where we did yum belongs here, and the places where we did, or some of them have not heard about.
Yeah, so we want to use this to do like introduction, then we'll get into practical. So when we get into practical, I'll be showing them this is particular, the one for yum, the one for apt-get. I discussed that with them earlier.
Oh, okay. All right, as long as they say they are following, so that I don't want anybody to be left stranded. What is that new person? Was that Joy? Yeah, I think. Joy, you said this is your first ever IT class.
Yes.
And now we're telling you that when we say Linux, there are different distros of Linux, right?
Yes.
So what are the distros?
So the one that uses yum, which is like Red Hat, Fedora, OpenSUSE, and CentOS. And he said CentOS was inside, sorry, Red Hat bought over CentOS or something like that. And then the one that uses apt-get/apt, there's the Ubuntu, Linux Mint, and Debian.
Okay, so what we're saying here essentially is that there are different types, different flavors of Linux operating system. So the different types, we call them different distributions of Linux. So some people will use, depending on the interview, they are essentially fundamentally the same. Like I said, the kernel is the same. It's just one or two little differences here and there. So once you know one, you can as well by knowing one, you already know like 80 to 90% of the others. The difference is just in the use of few commands, where in place of your, you use apt-get or apt on the other ones. So the common ones in the industry that you should know how to use, to say, I know Linux, are, especially these days, Ubuntu. So you must know, yeah, Ubuntu is a very common distro. Okay. So when you are claiming that you know Linux, most of the time it's enough to just leave it as Linux. But if you want to state the flavors or the distros of Unix that you know, Ubuntu and Red Hat are very popular. So you must, no matter what you know, you must learn those ones. CentOS is actually Red Hat, like I said. It's just, okay. I just came in just to make sure that you are following what is teaching. That's why I just interrupted you.
Can you throw more light on what kernel is? I'm not understanding about it.
Okay. So kernel is, you know, the inner room from where the operating system emanates. So
Okay.
do I have? No, do I? Give me a brief access to this. Let me draw some.
Okay, sir. I think you have to reclaim the host.
You will stop others. Do you want to okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So kernel would be for every operating system, not just Linux, even Windows. So what the way they are designed in 3 layers. So the first layer will be like the egg. So this is the yolk, right? And after the yolk of the egg, what do you have? Around the yolk, what do you have?
The white part.
The abdomen, right? The white part. So that is the white part. And on top of the white part, what do you have? The shell.
Shell.
These are the 3 layers. So this part is the closest part to the machine. You know, computers are actually machines. They are hardware, logic gates, and all the people who read electrical electronics. So this part of the operating, these 3 layers together are the operating system. This part communicates directly with the machine. So it's really, really hard for humans to be able to communicate with machine using the kernel. You use a lifetime to learn how to do that. So to simplify the human communication with the machine, the operating system presents this layer, the command line interface, the user interface. It is through here now that you can now communicate. So the interfaces that are presented to us as users to enter our command so that something can happen, this is the layer. So when we enter from here, it goes through the kernel and then gets to the core, the computer itself, which is right there. And then the kernel will now give it to the computer and say, they asked me to tell you to do this. And the computer will just reply, all of this within microseconds, all right? So this is the place of the shell. So for human operation, we hardly refer to the kernel. We normally refer to the command line interface through which operators communicate with the machine. However, occasionally we still need to talk about kernel just to tell us behind this operation that we are seeing here, what is the engine number, the power of the engine controlling the body? So that is where kernel comes into play. So the kernel is like the engine that is driving the operating system. Whereas this other part is like the body, and you are seeing the beauty from here, but this is actually the way. And then, of course, we also have the shell from where you can do your scripting. So, but this is, this is the place of kernel. So kernel is not something you should worry about. It's just for you to be aware that operating systems come in 3 layers. and the layer on which you are working on the operating system, in the case of Linux, is command line interface. That blank screen that will be blinking where you now be typing your command like it's going to take you. So all the commands,
I get it.
You get it, okay.
Yeah,
So
the black screen where you type the codes or all that. That's
yes,
the user interface, right?
that's the command line interface.
A command line interface, okay.
Simply called CLI. But that CLI does not communicate with your processor, your CPU, your buses, your ISA directly. It gives the command to the kernel. It is the kernel that knows the language. They call it low-level machine language to communicate with the hardware. I don't know if I'm making it more complex. But basically, the kernel is part of the operating system. The real chassis, the real engine of the operating system for machine-to-machine communication. But you don't use the kernel, you use the command line interface. So all the commands it's teaching you now, you are going to be entering them using your command line interface.
So the kernel is like the brain of the computer?
No, of the operating system. We're talking about just the
system,
Linux. So the kernel is the, you know, when you have a, I don't know, you guys are grew up in abroad. Do you know, what's it called now? Coconut, palm seed.
Yeah.
You know palm seed, you know when you break off the kernel, that seed inside.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm trying to explain with this egg thing. So this is the seed inside the kernel. This is the real thing. And then this is what you're actually looking for. So, but this one is too heavy for human. This one is using the language of 0110. How many years we use that down? Okay. So you now use CLI to speak almost human language. And then the kernel will now interpret it to machine language and give it to the mesh. All of this is the operating system. And what is the place of the operating system? In case you are wondering, this operating system. That operating system is, this is the machine. This is human. Human and machines, they don't talk unless they have interface. This interface between human and computer hardware, that is the operating system. So this is what we are saying. Operating system, this is this. So all of this is happening within the operating system. But like I said, it's nothing, it's just for theoretical knowledge. What you would know, you really need to know is how to communicate with your system from CLI, that's all. However, just remember that CLI by itself has to pass through the kernel in order to get. So if this is the operating system, we are saying that there's another layer here, and we are saying that there's another layer here. It is this kernel that actually communicates it. Even though you are communicating with the computer on this beautiful layer, speaking English, you still have to get to the kernel, and then the kernel will now get to it.
Okay.
Operating system is the software that manages the entire computer hardware and everything that is connected to the computer. Without the operating system, you just be looking at the machine. When I say machine, I mean computer. You just be looking at the computer and the computer will be looking at you. It will be like generator. So it's pure hardware, but the operating system is what makes the computer computer. Example of operating system, Linux. Another example, Windows.
Windows.
Yes.
Okay. And then another question is, when people say server, what does that mean?
Server just means a regular computer. However, it's now running a special service inside of it that other computers would depend on and be connecting to, that to be serving other computers.
Oh,
so,
I see.
Serving something. So if you have 20 computers in a corporate network, and one computer has a printer connected to it, the other 49 computers are connecting to that one computer in order to reach the printer. That one computer is the print server. It serves printer services. If you have 20 computers on the network, one computer has the database, the list of all students on that campus, for example. Every computer from the dean, from VC, that wants to access the list of students will have to go to that computer and request for, please show me the list of students. That computer is your database server because it serves database to the other computers.
Okay.
You have database server, print server, application server, web server, depending on what they are serving, just call them that thing server. Joy server, this server, and so on.
Okay.
So every time we go to cloud and we're saying server, 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 it means that whatever computer we're spinning up in cloud will be working to serve the world, 10,000 people, 1 million people, 1 billion people, that service that you are putting into it. It's not just for itself. You are putting it there so that it can serve the world, that service. Maybe Uber server, it will be serving the world, that application, Uber. Facebook server, that is where Facebook application, dating server, anything server, SAM server, as long as it is serving other computers depend on it for that resource, then it's a server. So such servers, to be able to serve other computers, will run a server operating system. Otherwise, other computers will not be able to request and get what that computer is serving.
And the server operating system is a Linux, right?
Yes, Linux is a beautiful example, the best example ever of a server operating system that millions of computers and users will be stressing. And it will not even complain, it will just be serving them like, there's no work. But if you put Windows Server in that same environment, by the time 2,000 requests are coming simultaneously, it will be confused. It will go blue. It will give you blue screen because you are overstressing it. It's not meant for too much work. But Linux will just be, and you'll be laughing at Windows. I say, is it this small work that you are sweating? You know how, in those days, Microsoft, Bill Gates and Larry Ellison and Steve Jobs of blessed memory, they used to quarrel a lot about all these things now. So I'm remembering the joke about you think it's Windows that will give up and show blue screen and stuff like that. Anyway, so Windows is not meant to run on computers that will be serving multiple, in fact, not just multiple, that will be serving thousands of requests at the same time. Good questions, fundamental questions, yes. Because you need to understand what this means before we even talk about.
I have just one question. I know you said we shouldn't really pay attention to the kernel and all that, but I heard you say something about the kernel running on binary codes or binary numbers. But is it possible for a person to learn it? I know, yes, we go to the operating system, but
no, not anymore.
Learn it? Okay.
Not anymore. Okay. The world has advanced beyond. So when we started computers, like when I started computers 27 years ago, 27 years before then, when we had mainframes, people were learning machine language.
Okay.
But these days, there are so many new technologies that that are waiting to be learned, and you make your billions of dollars within 1 year than to go and reinvent the wheel. So if you have all of that time, go and learn artificial intelligence. That's about the hottest of things.
Okay, now let's start with this one first. We'll get there.
Yeah. Yes. So, all right. So I'll leave you back to go back to class. Any more questions you want me to quickly answer before I leave? Wow, what a class! You have two trainers at the same time, right? All right. So let me give you, take over from. Yeah, I just wanted something that they can relate with. That's what I had. All right, so let me give you the math. Okay, you already co-host.
Yes.
So how do you get the math? Just request.
I can share my screen now.
Okay, go on. All right.
All right, so thank you, sir. Let's get into the crux. We have discussed the introduction around Linux. We've discussed Linux distros, the distributions. So let's begin to look at the basics, the shell prompt. However, I just realized that we might even need to do one or two background works. So we have to create AWS accounts. I'll show you how to do that. And also, I'll quickly also show us how to SSH into our servers, our EC2s, or our virtual machines. These are the names that the faculty lead has explained, especially virtual machine. When we get to EC2, I will also explain as well, but I'm sure I heard him when he was talking about EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. So let's begin with this. Before now, what we normally use to teach Linux is the virtual box, the Oracle virtual box, but that has been discontinued from the day one. Like I said, we'll enter into AWS cloud and begin to use their Linux from there. So let's get into it. This is my own Linux environment, but I realized I cannot just jump into it since we agree it's going to be 100% practical and hands-on. So we have to start from the very beginning. Hence, you are seeing this screen. How did I get here? From my browser, I put in aws.amazon.com. Okay. I know you want to ask questions about AWS, so just keep it. When we get into module 2, I will explain and I will answer all that you have around AWS. But the reason why we are here early before when we should be here actually is because we need to use the Linux in this platform. All right. AWS is Amazon Web Service, and it is the largest cloud provider, cloud platform out there. All right. Then you have other ones like Azure, Google Cloud Platform. Okay. But don't stress your head. When we get into module 2, I will explain all you need to know about cloud platform. Okay. So let's just focus on Linux right now. Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So let's focus on Linux. So this is how I got here, aws.amazon.com. The next thing if you do not have an account with them is to sign up and create an account. Okay. So if you click on sign into console, it gives you the interface, right? But if you do not have an account before, what we need to use is to sign up. So let's get back and find where to create an account with them.
So I think it's because you have an account with them. In
Yes,
mine,
but-
there's a button that says create an AWS account in place of where you have the sign in.
Yes, that's don't worry, I will look for
That's
my,
it.
can you see mine?
Okay.
Create an AWS account. All right. So in this place, you put your email and the account name. Who just spoke now, please?
It's me, Obina.
Mr. Timin, you are on your screen, right?
Yeah, I'm on my screen now, so speak.
Are you able to share your screen? Do we have that liberty?
I do, but I think you actually have to give me that.
Yes, so that it's gonna be your screen, then my voice, so the rest of us can see. I already have an account. I have about 4 accounts, so I don't have any email to use again, but I need to demonstrate this to us. So when we get to the
Okay.
part where it will request payment from you, you will unshare your screen at that point, okay? Just to protect. Right.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead, sir.
So do we need to follow, like just watch you go through the process, or we have to create an account as well?
Okay, so if you think you're not going to lose concentration, okay, you can create an account. But what I always advise is you follow, all right? The memory has a way of working. If you concentrate in class, when you are doing your residual memory plays back.
Gotcha.
Right?
So at some point we'll be required to create an account, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You will need to create an account with AWS for you to be able to do your own practicals as well.
Gotcha.
All right.
So right now it's not necessary. We can just follow you.
Yes, just follow me right now. So after the class, you can go ahead and create your account as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. So Mr. Simi, am I right, or Remy?
The person who spoke, or someone else?
Mr. Obina.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I need permission to be able to share my screen.
Unfortunately, I'm not the one hosting this meeting, so I just
it's
realized I will not be able to. So I'll be forced to. So let's just go ahead and let me create one. Root email Adegoke Obafemi at Yahoo. Let's see, at Gmail. So you supply this. I think I've used that. Let me use that. Hotmail.com. All right. So it's saying choose an account, choose a name for your account. You can change this name in your account settings after you sign up. So that's going to be like your username. I'll make mine Adegoke Obafemi. All right. And the next thing, you click on verify email address. All right. So it says a verification code has been sent to that email. So I'll go to my email. I'm going to access that from my mobile device. I'll put the verification code here. I hope it's not too long. Otherwise,
just a quick question while you're setting this up. Yeah, if we eventually get a job, the organization is going to have their own account, or we'll have to create our account and do their request or their tickets on our accounts.
No, the organization have their own account, please.
So we don't need to create ours. This is just for learning purposes. So when we get there, they're going to give us their username and password to get on their own platform.
When we get into AWS, we'll discuss all that. There's something we call IAM, all right, Identity and Access Management. Okay. All right. I just want to show us how to create an account. I already have one. So on that one, I can temporarily create IAM users for everybody in class. So while you are waiting for your own account to set up, because at times it can take up to 24, 48 hours before they confirm your account. So I can set us up on my own account. So we'll take my own account as the company's account, and then I'll give you login details. So that's how it's going to be in production environment.
Okay.
By production, I mean when you get into real life, when you're working with these tools, right? So I'm expecting the verification code. It hasn't come yet.
So can I share my screen? Because I'm already past this stage.
Okay, so I'm not the one hosting this meeting, so I can't be I can't share my screen. All right. So the stage where you are, what's it saying to you?
Okay, so it's saying contact information, business, personal.
Personal, please.
Okay, and then it asked me to enter my name, phone number, address, and I did all that. I have agreed to the terms.
You enter all that, and
Yeah,
also
agreed
your
to the
credit
terms.
card and all the rest. Yeah, just give me a moment. Let me see. Okay, I'm not receiving the mail. Now that's one challenge with this. Let me check this spam. If it has come. Okay. I think it came and it went to spam mail. So that's another learning point for us. When you are creating yours, it is possible for the verification email to go into your junk email. Are we all following, please?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So please don't wait for it only in your inbox. It is possible it enters in your junk email. Okay. So you open that. Look at the code here, 595381. Okay. 595381. Verify. Okay, then it will ask you for your root user password. Okay, your root user password. When we get into Linux proper, I'm going to explain root and user password and the ordinary user. So I'll create a root password for myself. Now, please listen attentively. This is where the security for your account begins. Even though you probably will work with a company that already have their own AWS account, okay, it is possible that a startup employs you and then you are the one that wants to create AWS account for them, all right? Or they might not be a startup, they could be an existing company and they want to migrate from on-premise server to cloud, all right? So by on-premise, I mean they have their network infrastructures, just as engineer can explain, they have it on site. So whenever you hear on-premise, it means that they have it with them on site. Imagine they now say they want to migrate all on-premise facilities to cloud, okay? And they are contacting you as a consultant. That means you'll be the one to create the cloud account for them. All right. Now, when you are creating password for any cloud account or any password at all, the standard is that it should be minimum of 8 alphanumeric characters. 8 alphanumeric. That means 8 characters that should have number, figure from 0, any number between 0 and 9, and it should have alphabet. That's what I mean by alphanumeric. 1, it should have at least one uppercase, which you also call capital letter, and it should have at least one special character. So let me use the whiteboard, because when we talk about security, this is where it begins. So if I want to choose an alphanumeric now, I will say, let me look at the names we have here. Okay, we have Joy. Okay, I can say Joy, Olubayo 88, this. Can we all see this? This is a standard password, okay? Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is more than 8 already. Okay, so we know it meets the minimum of 8. Is it alphanumeric? These are alphabets and these are numbers. All right. Does it have uppercase? Yes, the one that starts, okay, is an uppercase. Your uppercase can be any in any position within, but for remembrance sake, I think it should be at the beginning. Okay. And then does it have a special character? Yes. These are special characters, at, dollar, and. All right. So your password should have minimum of 8 alphanumeric, minimum of 1 uppercase, and minimum of a special character. This is how to create a hack-proof password. Are we together?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
all right. So you've gone ahead, if you think that your password does not meet the standard, when you are done creating the account, please do well to change the password.
It means the
Although,
standard.
okay, beautiful. So I'm creating one for myself right here. You don't have to see it. Okay. I think it's not the same. All right. So do you see that as I'm progressing, it is telling me that it is meeting the what? The standard. All right, then I'll say continue. All right, what do I need these accounts for? It's for personal. All right. When I check it for personal, for own project,
We
there
can't
are.
see those. We are not seeing that.
Oh,
Can you share your
sorry.
screen again? Yes.
Can you see my screen now? So after
Yeah.
I entered the password,
Yes.
I clicked next and it brought me here. All right. So to the person that asked, if you are joining a company, either they are trying to migrate to cloud or they are new starter and you happen to be their manager at the IT or you're consulting for them, if you are opening AWS accounts for such organization, then you should be checking what? Business. Is that correct? Yeah, it is. So personal, my full name is this, okay? My phone number, you enter your country, your region, and all that. Okay. Check, you continue. All right. So you entered your credit card number, all the details here. However, let's do this together. It says that you're going to be charged $1 just to confirm the veracity of that card. However, it will be refunded. Okay. It says we will not charge you for usage below AWS free tier. Okay. This AWS account is free for 365 days. Although it is free, it has limit per month of what you can use. If you exceed the monthly limit, they will charge you. However, when we get to that point, I would do well to explain properly how to stay within the limit. All right. But when you put your payment card details here, they will charge you $1, all right, before they now release it to you after 3 to 5 days. Okay. From this point on, I'm not going to enter anything here. From this point on, everything is easy to navigate. All right. Is there any question before we move on? All right. So if there are no questions, I'll get back into my own account where I can create a user, a temporary IAM role for every one of us. So we can be using that one to do our practice before we get our own personal accounts. All right. And if you're able to get your account before the next class, you might want to share the good news with the rest of us on the WhatsApp page, right? So I'm gonna exit here. I'm done. And come into my own account. So this is the account I'm using currently. Like I said, all these things you are seeing here, please ignore them for now. When we get into AWS proper, we're going to explain one by one. All right. So the first thing I'll do for us in my account is I'm going to create an IAM role for everyone in class except the faculty lead, because he has his own. All right. So just as you have on Yahoo, on Gmail, you have login details, okay? And probably some of us in our current employment right now, you probably have login details when you get to your job in the morning, you sign in, okay? That's the same it is with AWS. When you join a company that already have AWS accounts, maybe all of their operations are from AWS platform, what they do for you is create a user for you on their account, okay? And they give you permissions and access as well. What that means is you have an extent to which you can, to which your reach is within their AWS accounts, okay? See the services of AWS, more than 170 of them. They are grouped under these subheadings, okay? They can say, we are only giving you access to compute, okay? This is where we are going to be able to access our Linux for now. All right, so let's go ahead and create users. Okay, I click on, from IAM row, I click on users. All right, although we're still going to repeat this when we get into AWS. So how many of us are here? That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. All right, so ladies first, right? We'll start with Miss Joy. Okay. Who else do we have? I can see Uche.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Obina, if you do not prefer the name I'm choosing, please do well to give me the right one. File Cloud, is that what you want, sir? Mr. Olu Buyo. Then.
No, File Cloud, I'd rather have a Baraka. File Cloud is where I work. I just can't get the Zoom thing out, or rather I didn't log out of the Zoom account.
You prefer Baraka, right?
Yeah, that's my first name. Thanks so much. Yeah.
All right, sir. So I think I have everyone here. Okay. So I'm going to give you both programmatic access and management console access. So the screen you are seeing now is the management console screen. All right. In IT, you have basically 2 interfaces. When I was explaining the other time that I said Linux is in 3, you have the hardware, you have the kernel, which engineer King took his time to explain, and you have the user space. That user space in the term now is where we say user interface, right? Now, user interface can be in 2, command line interface and GUI, all right?
I have a question. I'm trying to
ahead.
sign up mine. is it the basic support -free? That's the one we are choosing, right? Not the developer support.
Yes, the basic support. Oh, you put in
Okay.
your
Yes.
payment details
Yes.
and all that. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So CLI is command line interface. GUI is graphic user interface. Okay. The screen where you see pictures, you see diagram that is beautiful and all that, that's the graphics user interface. Okay. And AWS call their own GUI management console access. Okay. The CLI is the command line interface, and they call it programmatic access. This is where you enter codes, either API or SDK. So I'm going to give you access to both. All right. And then I'm going to give you just one general password. However, we will set it such that after you've used that password, it will expire and you can create your own password. So I'll give you computer 1 asterisk. Can you see this password? Computer 1 asterisk. That's the password that all these accounts, these 6 accounts, that's the password you will use on your first logon. And then I checked this. Users must create a new password at their next login. Okay, so the next is permission. What permissions do I want to give us? Okay, to set permission, I will have to create a group. In fact, let me just give us administrators access for now. I know we want to trespass. Tags, do I want to give us tag? There's no need. Next, review, create user. All right, so the users has been created. We'll take one as a to do example, so the rest of us can know how to connect to our to my AWS account using your own user. I'm gonna download this file. It's an Excel spreadsheet file. Okay. I'm going to show in folder. Let me copy this. And let me see if I put it in the chat. Everybody can take it from there. It's inside my desktop. It's in download. I want to share that folder with us. Right? Download, new credentials, open. So can everybody please go to the chat room and save that Excel file. Okay. If you are using your phone, you can save it on your phone. Whichever device you are using to connect, you can save it on it. All right. So I'm going to open mine. All right. So this is it.
I don't see it in the chat yet.
Yeah, it's not in the chat.
The file is not in the chat.
No.
No.
Please,
You're referring to
me.
the WhatsApp group, right?
No. I'll resend it. I sent
Or
it
the Zoom. It's not
to...
it either.
Don't worry, I'm going to resend it now, please.
Okay. All right. Cool.
All right. I've seen where the error is from. Okay. So it won't allow me to send it to you. I'm coming. Let me send it to one of us. Okay. All right, so I'm going to send it to our WhatsApp group so we can take it from there. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so let me populate this. The password I showed us, computer1 asterisk, and that's the password everybody will use, but you can change it on first login. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'll show us how to use this IAM account to log in into this IAM access to log in into our AWS account for now. All right, pending when your account will be ready, so at least you can have something to always work with. Look at this column here, this column E on this. Can we all see my spreadsheet?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. If you pick, all the links here are the same. All right. So you copy either one of it and you come to your browser and paste it. Okay. It will take you to where you are signing in as IAM user. All right. That browser, that link already have my account digit with it. Okay. So let us use Miss Joy as an instance now. So the username is Joy. Okay. The password, which is here, is computer1 exclamation mark. So let's do that. Be mindful of the cases, computer1, and then you click on sign in. All right. Remember that we checked to change password on the first login. All right. So old password, computer1. The new password, I'm using computer11 asterisk. That is computer11. All right. Confirm password change. And let us say my account is the company's account. As simple as that, they created, we've created a role for 6 new employees, and now they are in the account. New AWS console home, switch to the new AWS console home, yes. All right. So you will see that there are no services listed as bookmark here as you have in my own in this place, right? And that's because this is a new IAM account, all right? See what you are seeing here, Joy at this account ID. That's to show you that, okay, this is an IAM user, okay? So the password I'm sending now, Miss Joy own has changed 11 asterisk, so that when she's using her own, this is the password to use. Let's save this. I promise to send this to us after the class. So let's get into it proper.
11 asterisk or 11?
Sorry, 11 exclamation mark, please.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's get into where we are going. Where we can access Linux is from EC2. So we're going to create, or let me use the right diction. We are going to launch a server, and it's going to be a Linux server. Your server could be Windows, it could be Mac, it could be any distro, any kind of Linux distro. But let us begin with Amazon Linux distro. All right, so you come to services. Are we following now, please?
Yes.
Is there any question?
No.
No question.
Can we have the spreadsheet so we can log into and we can be going step by step as you're doing it? Is it possible?
Oh, it is possible. It is possible. Let me.
Yeah, I think I'll prefer that so that I don't
find the way. Okay, so I'm coming. Can I have someone's email? So I'm going to send it to that person. The person will help us put it on the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Give me
Uche,
your
go
email.
ahead.
Okay, it's UDEZE.
UDEZE.
ZE at Gmail.
Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. I'm just going to add this. Okay. Download this. Okay. Okay. All right, that's the beauty of live classes. You do and you follow in real time. Have you received it, sir?
Not checking, hold on. Not yet. Okay, yes.
So can you please download and push it to the group so everybody can have it?
Yes, working on that right now.
All right, so just take your time.
Done.
All right, can we all go to the WhatsApp group and download? In fact, I can even game it. I should have given us this. The link. Here's mine. Do you see the link on our chat? Zoom chat? If you can copy that link.
I think so.
Yes, copy that link and launch it on your phone browser, sorry, your desktop browser, and you can copy the rest here. What you actually need now is your username and your password. But I figure out that you might not be able to access the link if you're not getting it, except if you are copying from your laptop. Can we use the next 3 minutes to all connect?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Miss Joy, how far have you gone?
Oh, hold on. Oh my God.
You've created the account, right?
Oh, yes. I'm at where you at.
All right. So,
with my own account, without I am the one you did.
Oh, it was created immediately.
I think so. I'm seeing exactly what you're seeing.
Beautiful. All right.
So
let's.
I don't know if it's up and doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just see that
There's no hide
services.
and seek. If it is ready, it is ready.
Yeah, it says it might not have all the features till 24 hours, but yeah.
Okay, so that you might not have all the features for 20. So I think, Ms. Joy, do you want to use this one first so that that doesn't hold you down? So just copy that link as well. But remember, we have changed your own password. The password is computer 11 exclamation mark. So at least we can use
I'm on my phone right now. So the Zoom I'm doing now is on my phone. I'm trying to see how to move what you sent on chat to WhatsApp so I can access it from my computer.
PC, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not letting me.
What's your? I can just forward it to you in the email.
You need my email address?
Yeah, so if I forward it to you, then you can just click on it on your computer. I think he also put the link on the chat. So
Oh yeah, I
No,
see it. Don't
it's
worry, I'll
using
just
Zoom. It's using it.
yeah.
on my
She's using her phone to connect to Zoom, so that's why she
Oh,
can't
okay.
access it.
Okay, yeah, I can
but
forward
wait,
it.
wait.
All
Let me
right.
see if I can just type it in.
No, let me email it to you so you can click on it.
All right.
Yeah, it's easy.
Joy Orgy.
Hold on, give me one
Joy
second.
Orgy. Okay.
Let me hit forward. Okay. So Joy Orgy.
91@gmail.com.
Orgy is ORGJI.
J as in joy, I.
Okay, so JOYORGI 91 at Gmail.
Not G, J as in joy.
Yeah. JOYORGI.
JI.
JI, yeah.
No, yeah, J-I. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure the OG is OR, not OJ. OJ. Okay, cool. All right, it's coming.
All right. Who has been able
A
to
quick
sign
one.
in?
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Joy, your WhatsApp, I heard you say it's open on your laptop, right? Or
Yes.
my wrong? She
Yes,
already
it's
sent
open.
it to the
Yeah.
group. Check the group chat. You'll
Yes.
see the
I don't think I'm on
Excel
the group chat yet.
Okay.
Oh, he didn't add you up to the. Oh,
But
that's fine.
yeah. So I got the email. I got it
All
now.
right,
So
cool.
I'll open it from here.
All right. Look at your access here. Your username is Joy, but we changed your own password to computer 11 exclamation mark. Who has logged in? Has anybody been able to sign in?
Signing in at the
Yeah.
moment.
All right. So I think we are waiting for Miss Joy.
You mean into the AWS platform?
Say that again, sir.
The AWS platform, like sign into the console of the accounts you created for us and change our password?
Yeah, change password to your own password. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been able to just verify the screenshot if that's what you're looking for. I sent something in chat.
Okay. I mean,
All right. So if we are all in, I think we are ready to move on. Miss Joy?
One sec. Computer one.
Exclamation mark. Yeah. Just above one, shift one. That's the exclamation mark.
I'm in.
All right. So you click on services.
Mm-hmm.
You go to compute, you drop down to compute. If you click on compute, you're going to see EC2. EC2 means Elastic Compute Cloud. That is the name that AWS calls their own virtual servers, Elastic Compute Cloud. If you get to other cloud computing platforms, they have their own names as well, okay? And the good thing about cloud computing is if you have learned one, you've actually learned the rest because their architectures are very, very similar, right? It's as good as once you know how to drive a brand of a car, you can drive the rest. Okay, when you get into Microsoft Azure, they call their own virtual servers virtual machine, VM. So AWS calls its own EC2. So you click on your EC2, it takes you to their dashboard. Are we all at the dashboard? Okay. Don't bother, you will not be seeing the same thing as mine because I have EC2s running even though they are stopped right now.
okay. I mean,
Yeah, I mean.
All right. So do you see anything like launch instances?
yes.
Yeah.
It's
All right. So let's go and launch an instance. An instance is a EC2. It says Amazon EC2 allows you to create virtual machines or instances that run on AWS cloud. Okay, so what name do you want to call it? Let me call my own ITern US, whichever name you want to call yours. Maybe you want to give it the tag of class or practice. Okay. So I won't be explaining this because this is what we are supposed to learn when we get into AWS. All right. So what we're going to do at this point is just click as I click till we get to where we are going. Okay. Because this is what we are going to learn and more when we get into AWS properly. So let's not waste time explaining this here. Okay. So the machine I want to select is Amazon Linux. All right. So engineer Akin says Ubuntu is common. So let's start with Amazon Linux, and then subsequent times we can also launch for Ubuntu. All right. Click on Amazon Linux. The machine image Amazon Linux 2 is free tier. If you drop down, you're going to see other ones, but please don't be tempted to pick other ones except you have some penny you want to give out to AWS. So stick with the free tier eligible. All right. Also the instance type. Okay. I said again, we're going to explain all this when we get into AWS. All right. Key pair, this is like a key to secure our instance. All right. So you might want to give your own a key pair name. Okay. So my own, I have some key pair here. All right. But you being the first time, you have to click on create new key pair. Are you following, lady and gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Create key pair. If you create key pair, it will ask you for a key pair name. Let me use ITern US. Okay, dash key pair. I want to put key pair so that I can easily access it. All right. And then the key pair type is going to be RSA. Okay. And the private key file format. All right. These file formats are what we're going to be using to SSH into our account. SSH means secured shell. All right. SSH is how you can remotely access an account. How you can remotely access an account. So someone was asking the other time, are there remote roles for DevOps engineer? Okay, so say the company you work for, they are in Texas and you live in Tulsa, all right? And it's a remote role. That means you can stay in your home and access their account, all right? You may not have access if they already have a server running, okay? You may not have access to this screen that you and I have access to now. So what they will give you is, they give you this key, private key pair. They send it to you via email and also the username. Then you will now use an SSH agent to log in into this server. What I just said now, we're going to see it shortly. All right. So if you've entered the key pair name, check RSA, check .pem. Mr. Olu, you don't have to raise your hand. Please cut in whenever you want to ask questions, please. Mr. Olu.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Do we have to use the same key pair name that you're using?
No. It's a custom name. You can
Oh,
give
okay.
it your own name.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. All right. So create key pair. Once you click on create key pair, it will automatically download the key pair for you. right? Okay, so you have network settings. On your network settings, the only one that is checked is allow SSH traffic. Okay, leave it as it is and let's move on. Configuration storage 8 gig, leave it and let us move on. And then click on launch instance. Click on launch instance. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together? I want everybody's response. Are we together?
Yeah.
All
Mine
right.
did not go through. It says instant launch failed.
Okay, so go and start again.
Just a second. I'm about to finish mine here in a minute.
All right.
Wow. How do I start all over?
Just go and click, go back to your EC2. You know how we go to EC2? Services. From services, compute. From compute, click on EC2.
Then
right.
launch instance.
All right, beautiful. Launch instance. Okay.
What did I not do right?
Don't panic. Just follow my screen. Can you see my screen?
Okay. Yes.
All right. The name tag. Put the name. I want to form another one now.
Name and tag, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Have you put the name?
Yes.
Okay. Just scroll down, come to key pair login.
Okay.
Were you able to create key pair at the first time?
Hold on. That's under that name and tag. Am I supposed to click on add additional tag?
No. Don't click. Just follow what we are doing in class for now.
Okay. I'll just type just type the name under name.
Yes.
Name and tag. Just type the name.
Yep.
Okay.
So come to key pair. Were you able to create key pair that first time?
I think so.
Okay, we know now. Drop down, click on that arrow to drop down for you. Did it drop down anything?
It says, yes. The one I did was intern US-joy.
Is there, right?
Yes.
So click on it. Click on it. There's no need to create a new one. Click on it. I can even see it. All right. I can see everybody's on here. Olulab, iPen US, Game Over. These are funny names, right? Game Over. All right. So click on your own key pair. iPen US. All right. And then next is launch instance.
Okay.
Is it successful?
Still saying the same thing. Yeah.
Did she click on Amazon AWS?
Is what?
Where?
Did you click on Amazon AWS? Amazon Linux?
No, I didn't click on it.
This recent here, did you click on anyone here?
No, I didn't click on anyone.
Okay, so do you want to go back and repeat the process?
Oh my goodness.
No, don't panic. Don't panic, don't bother.
I'm even thinking, how did we get it? Okay, launch instance. Then me again. Sorry.
So while we are waiting for Miss Joy, can the rest of us go to our EC2 dashboard?
So go back to EC2.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you seeing your instance? Is it running?
EC2 dashboard. Where exactly will I see that?
Okay, go to your EC2 first. By the way, when you get to EC2, you should see an empty star. click on that star to make that service a
Yeah.
favorite.
I did that already.
All right, so that you can easily access EC2 from there.
Yes.
Who else has been able to do that? I mean, my dashboard.
Oh, it went through now. It says successful.
Beautiful. So go to your.
I'm actually reloading my system. Sorry. I mean, because I'm using a different laptop for that. That's kind of slow.
Okay.
So mine says instance running 1.
All right. So click on that instance running 1. Where is it seen?
How did we get to? How did you get here?
Okay. So go back to your service, compute.
Okay.
When you get to compute, you should see, before you click on EC2, you should see a star beside it.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that star so that it can make it a favorite.
Okay.
If you click on it, you then now click on the EC2 now. Make sure that star turns to orange.
Yes.
By that, you should now see EC2 on your bookmark bar. So you can always access EC2 from your bookmark bar that way.
Okay.
When you click on your EC2 now, it should take you to your dashboard. Everybody should be on their dashboard right now, right?
No, I'm actually back to the beginning. I just tried creating the instance. It says the initialization request is the status is succeeded, and creating security groups says failed. Then I went back again right now, and it says the security group launch wizard 1 already exists for VPC with the code. Don't know what that is. Let's see. I can put this in the.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Hello, hello, hello.
It's about to bounce us. I think we've exhausted 3 hours already. Yeah. Can you please, sir, can you give us like 10 minutes so we round up?
No, it's okay for one day. This past 9 already. Don't worry, we have 4 months together.
All right, no problem about it.
All right, so, all right, guys.
Don't overload them on the first day.
We'll see on Saturday. Good to have you welcome on board. Yeah.
All right, so I'm glad you guys were able to do something practical on the first day. So, so I hear that Joy was participating actively. Who was the other person that I don't see the full screen. Was he? Anyway, so that's it for today. The video will be uploaded to your group, and then you'd have access, and then subsequently you use a new link to access class. So that was it from me, and then your trainer will generate a new link for you to come to class next time. I'm happy, as you said again, bon voyage. So that's it for me. Any last minute question as we round up?
Is it necessary to log out of the AWS before or after class? I mean,
Yeah, you can log out for now. Yeah, you'd always log out. I'm sure he wanted to show you how to turn off your system before you log out. But there's no harm because you still have 750 hours of it. All right. So yeah, you can log out, and then you can, as long as you remember using username and password, you can always log back. All right, so we'll release the video in hopefully before I go to bed tonight. Otherwise, it will be tomorrow morning, and that's it. All right. So today is Sunday, right? Next meeting will be Saturday. That's a long time.
Are any manuals, like stuff to practice on, or would that happen with the class? That's the class.
Yeah. Femi, let's release some manuals or something to just keep them busy till that Saturday. Maybe the script, like somebody calls it, of what we did today. today so that they can practice on that.
Okay, sir.
All right. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Good having you. We'll continue on next
Yeah, appreciate it.
All
Bye,
right,
everybody.
bye.
Nice meeting you guys, everybody.
Nice meeting
Same
you
here.
too.
Thank you, Femi. Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.